So then this part is very, very technical. Digging it out with my hands. Ooh, this stuff is cold. It was just my own private obsession for years that, I shared with the people around me. That's why they started calling me Sandorkraut, because I was always showing up with sauerkraut and other fermented things. And I just loved sharing my excitement about sauerkraut with people, inviting people in. I started keeping a sourdough and making miso. I learned how to make tempeh. Nothing like fresh tempeh. All of these processes are thousands of years old, and definitely each batch is unique and individual. That's one of the things that's cool about it. Our gardening season really has passed, but this is a leek. Oh yeah, look, this one is giant. This is like the size of a baby's head. What is fermentation? Broadly speaking, fermentation is the transformative action of microorganisms. But then there's a further caveat.
You guys want to see my compost pile?
Not every transformative action of microorganisms results in something delicious that we want to put into our mouths. Certainly, humans didn't invent fermentation, and I would even argue that humans didn't discover fermentation, because fermentation happens spontaneously. On all raw plant material, there's already lactic acid bacteria. On all fruit that you could make wine out of, there's already yeast. The human cultural accomplishment is that we created vessels and make these processes happen kind of on our own terms. Bread and miso and sauerkraut and wine, it's so vast and infinite. And then the fact that these foods are produced by these sort of invisible life forces, these microorganisms, just adds this mysticism and alchemy to the whole thing. Hey.
How you doing?
Good. You can see I've got lots of Crocs. So now I need some big spoons. This is where, for the last 5 years, I've been teaching workshops, not continuously, but several times a year. I'll get groups of, 12 to 18 people, and we'll have, kind of an intensive fermentation experience here. Oh, there it is. Oh, nice. Look, I got lots of yogurt here. Looking for a scissor. Great. You know, I had spent most of my life in New York City. I just imagined that New York would always be my home. I was a policy analyst in the Manhattan Borough President's office. But like a big thing happened to me in 1991, which is that I tested HIV positive, and that really just sort of, threw my career ambitions and my interest in municipal government just for a loop. I knew a lot of people who were living with HIV, so I wasn't really thinking like, oh my God, I have 2 years to live and everything's gonna be over. It's just that it really shifted my sense of priorities in life. It led me into a little bit of a spiritual quest. Randomly, I went with my roommates down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. We met people who live in this queer community in Tennessee that was very intriguing to me. Then I started talking to them about how to move down there. The community that we moved to 20 years ago, I mean, they were really, really roughing it. For 17 years, I read by the light of candles at night.
It's a magical place in many ways.
It stayed very romantic.
Yeah, life is dictated by the seasons a lot, so that's a really unusual place to find yourself, and I like that.
I made the first sauerkraut that I made in a crock that I found in the barn. So, the hippies that preceded us by 20 years, they were playing around with fermentation too. They just didn't write a book about it. I used to always open up miso crocks kind of in private and secret. I was embarrassed at how ugly they were, but they're always this ugly. We each are the host to, these extraordinarily elaborate microbial communities. There is a certain inevitability to microbial change. When all things die, all of that stuff decomposes by the action of fermentation. So I think fermentation is very closely related to death, and I don't know, personally, I don't find that a scary aspect of death at all. The scary aspect of death for me is that I don't get to sort of see the people I know as children now, grow up and get old and, see the, next installment of the movie or something. But, the idea of, bacteria decomposing my body, I actually find weirdly comforting. Oh, good. The garlic did survive. Are you separating out the stuff that's too big? Yeah. Yeah, great.
Cut them to length.
We are repurposing this 1820s log cabin, and I'll be teaching intensive fermentation classes and probably having some sort of apprenticeship program. My school I've been calling the Foundation for Fermentation Fervor, so I think it'll be fun.
If you be lonely, listen to who I speak about. I ain't no voice to tell you how to make that sauerkraut. It's made out of vinegar, so everyone's supposed.
Right now, we're at a moment when people are earnestly seeking to, become more connected to their food and where it comes from and reclaim some of the processes that their grandparents were doing that they never learned how to do.
I think I ought to
There's just a growing interest in fermentation because of that, and I love to share it with people.
Spinning sauerkraut, fries good, you know, because you love it so. Spinning sauerkraut, only 5 cents 1 pint.
I also think that there is a spiritual component where, you know, there's just a hunger to be more connected to the earth and the environment and other forms of life around us. In my own experience, getting involved in a garden and cultivating the magic of microorganisms has really made me feel much more connected to creatures large and small that I have interactions with.